It's so striking, like to look at pictures of people in, like whether it's the Tai Chi pictures or the ones where people are in meditation, and then there's these really bold colours that it seems like it's getting at something of the essential, like it's trying to get at the experience of what's happening. It's like you experience meditation in bold colours, or you experience Tai Chi in bold colours.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that when I was walking around it, and thinking about when you're doing the line drawing of the woman in like a meditation, and you know the one that you repeat again and again in the white room.
Yeah.
For one, what were you looking for? Why did you repeat that so many times?
Well, part of what's nice about being an artist that only draws, like I'm not a conceptual artist, is that you can just fall back on, okay, I want to make a nice drawing. It's so nice. It's so nice to just try and draw a nice drawing. It's actually really comforting not to have to do something more than that. So part of it, it's part of the repetition of the female form in meditation postures, because it's just really pleasing to try and grapple with the way, the structure, the pose, the energy off of. It's just like perpetually interesting for me to do that, to try and render the form.
Yeah.
But also, like as a series, then I realised that if I moved around her, it would be more interesting. I would get more of a sense of this person in space, in the room. So tiny bit conceptual, coming like a tiny bit. I was trying to see it as a 3D thing, but without getting into 3D. That's why I did the figure from lots of different directions.
And how many would you do? Was that like every day you would draw the same woman, or was that all in one sitting and you would just do again and again and again?
So the installation, for example, that was probably like 3 or 4 days with the model over long periods of time. So she'd come and just sit in meditation posture and for a day, and I'd do lots and lots. But the life drawings, because a lot of the life drawings were done here.
Yeah.
So this is every Saturday. So every Saturday I'd just come and I'd just try and render the form. And that's all I was doing for ages, just trying to render the form. I was doing that for ages before thinking, maybe I could make some art actually. Maybe this could be a slightly more interesting thing than just rendering the form.
It strikes me that there's like a similarity there between the repetition that you have to do in your spiritual practice and the repetition that you were doing in your artistic practice.
Yeah.
Do you think the two things are related?
Yeah, and it's kind of similar. Like you think, wow, I'm literally just trying to look at the breath. That's all I'm doing. It doesn't really seem that meaningful. There's nothing going on. I'm just trying to bring my mind back from the distractions to the breath again and again and again and again. And then suddenly it's like, oh, actually I can do it in my own way. I can meditate in my own way. I can have a spiritual life in my own way. I can draw in my own way. It's okay to be myself. It's okay to draw exactly as I want to draw. There's actually no right and wrong way of doing it, and rendering the form can actually be a kind of it doesn't get in the way. It's interesting still, but it's not the end. Like watching the breath isn't the end.
Yeah.
So I agree. You just got to sort of rehearse and repeat, but from that, eventually something did come which was a bit new, a bit creative, a bit mine.
Yeah.
Instead of just okay, this is how it's done. This is what the form is. I'm just going to repeat and repeat and repeat.
I feel like what you arrive at in the exhibition is definitely like yours. You know, this is like a style or like a conclusion to this like rendering the form or whatever, you know, this practice.
Yeah.
It feels like suddenly there's this breakthrough that happens with the collage, and then things start to grow. And have I read that right? Do you think that's kind of?
Yeah, I'm completely thrilled to bits that I've actually found something that's mine. Yeah, yeah. And it was just something simple sometimes in the life drawing room, like she'd have her hand like that, and I realised it's actually okay to have her hand down there.
Yeah.
Or she'd have her hand there, and it's actually okay to have it there. Like, that amount of just deciding for myself how I want to live was quite nice. Just, okay, I don't have to put it there. I can put it there. Or I can make her arm really long and strange.
Yeah.
It was so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, otherwise you're just trapped into some strange, like 17th century idea about where the hand should be at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like you've just let go. You've let go of what was holding you back in your work there. Yeah. Ruth was just allowing herself to just be herself and just go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's... yeah, I have been trying to be an individual for a long time, but for some reason there's still something saying, no, you're not allowed to do it that way.
Is that inner critic?
Yeah, the inner critic, or just, it's like it's for some reason quite hard to just make the decision to do it my way.
Mm.
Yeah, so yes, it's like a letting go, but it did involve the repetition to gain the confidence to do the letting go.
It's like you've got to do... You've got to
to
do the monotony and the minutiae of the
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
And then you can make the decision to abandon some of the...
That's right, yeah.
Would you say that there are themes in the general exhibition? Are there things that you either intended there to be or things you've realised are themes now that it's up?
It's definitely about vulnerability.
Yeah.
It's about trying to accept that we're going to die and all our loved ones are going to die. So impermanence, literally everything's changing all the time. It's really freaky. What are we going to do about it? Can we make that okay? Can we make that something that we don't hide away from but don't drown in? And also, is it okay to take space and to be in a crowd? Things like that. Those sort of things. But yeah, vulnerability, to have the courage to be vulnerable. I suppose that's alongside having the courage to accept impermanence.
This thing about vulnerability, I just want to read out something actually.
I've got it.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
There are these two little poems up on the wall that Ruth wrote as we go around the exhibition. And one of them is called Unmasking, and it's up by the installation that was playing when you walked in. And it says, quite hard to be vulnerable, easier to be masked and capable. The model, vulnerable in many ways, allows me to put my mask down. Awkward being an artist in public, not sure if people will judge. The model, vulnerable in many ways, helps me see I'm not separate. And I think that's just beautifully put, this thing about the relationship between the model and the artist and whose vulnerability in that relationship is, well, whose vulnerability is whose.
Yeah.
Like, I'd never really thought of it that way. And this thing about unmasking, it's funny that artifice allows us to get closer to something that feels real.
Yeah.
Like to unmask the world, we have to make something that isn't real. It's art.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like what I look at when I look at your exhibition is like somehow I'm getting closer to the experience of the musicians in the room or something.
Yeah.
I'm closer to it. I see it because I'm watching you unmasked, seeing people expressing. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I had a conversation with someone a few weeks ago, and it occurred to me that actually masking, actually it's possible to maybe say more about life with a mask.